Show your hands. We want to thank you for your support. 1871 Collective, show your hand. We want to thank you for your support. It's going to take a team effort to continue to move the university forward. My first goal was to build capacity. And building capacity is trying to fill some of those key positions, improve our efficiency so we can become better on getting things from point A to point B, and last is our customer service. We're not there yet, but we're working and we're moving forward to achieve that goal. That's why it was so important to try to find an athletic director. I know the alumni, y'all patient, but I know you're not that patient. You're ready for things to be moving forward. And I just want to assure you, this administration, we hear you, we see your comments, but a lot of things take progress. What keep me up at night is that money that I was talking about, those CARES dollars, that $30-something million, $5.5 million actually going to go towards the Whitney complex to help that $25 million that we already have to make that total of $30 million for the renovation and stuff. That 5.5, we're on a different administration now, so I'm crossing my fingers, and I've been making a lot of contact to ensure that $5.5 million is still intact, so it'll go along with the $25 million. Now, our legislation right now, we have another tune of $10 million we're working on, so that'll be the second phase. The total operation of that Whitney complex is going to be $40 million. And I know so often y'all see other schools and they say they have an initiative. We have $25 million in the bank ready to roll, along with the other 5 and 15 to make a total of $40 million. So we're moving forward. It's all about building capacity with our athletic director. I know Midwinter Conference. Show of hands, who all coming to Midwinter Conference? All right, I appreciate that support. That's going to be the time you're going to be seeing the rollout of our athletic director, his plan as far as the short term, long term. I asked him for the numbers, and the numbers roughly about 900 and some season ticket holders. That number need to be up a little bit. It need to be up. People come to me and say, when you going to expand the RV parking lot? I say, when you fill the stadium up. We only having 4 and 5 games typically a year, and the games you actually come is what? Homecoming, Jackson State, and that's pretty much it. Southern going to bring a decent crowd, but the operation budget is roughly about $70,000 per game, and that price is going up. Matter of fact, we experienced an increase on just security. And you might say they just there, they not doing anything, but don't have them. You're looking for a lot of legal issues. So they have to be a part of that. You want those portable units. Now they about $7,000 every time I bring them on that campus for that weekend. And you got 3 of them, that's $21,000. So when we talk about transporting the football team, bus supply, roughly about $100,000 that we spend on athletics to move those student athletes. So we have a lot of things in place as far as trying to improve our facilities, improve our transportation so we can cut into that price. But I'm a little old school. I don't like to be transparent until it starts rolling and we have it on our end, because, a lot of times when you put your business too far out there, people put roadblocks in to kind of like stop things. So when you don't hear from the administration, it doesn't mean we're not working for you. We're working for you. So when you hear from me, we have it. It's on campus, not in progress. So I appreciate your patience, working with us. And we're going to continue to have that open dialogue. We're going to have some advisory council committees as far as what can we do overall to improve Alcorn. Right now, we have a tune of about 41 projects open Alcorn as far as construction to take place all around the campus, and I'll be able to give a more detailed report at Midwinter Conference. But I know athletics is some low-hanging fruit. I know you're seeing basketball games, you're seeing some improvement on the first phase of ADA, and we're just waiting after graduation, talking to the architects and make sure the plans are final, and then some other outreach things we're trying to put in place. So we're working, but it's going to be a team effort. Continue to talk positive about the university. I see we in much better shape as far as our communication. A lot of people are talking positive about the university. A lot of times when people say they not doing this and that, it's another side to that. No matter how you slice it, there's always two sides to the story. And then you have the edge around there. Sometimes that might be the truth. So, because people gonna say one side and the other side. So things are not quite what you hear. We have an open dialogue. And if my people are not communicating back to you, you have my email address. And you just email me. Last thing before I go to my seat. Show of hands, how many of you have my personal cell number? Okay. All right. Now, it's a reason I gave you my personal cell number. And that's for me to give it to you. Now, when you transfer my personal cell number to someone else, my question is, who gave you my cell number? And they tell me, and I say, okay, now you have all rights and benefit of that previous person. And I tell that previous person here, I'm gonna block you now, so I'm transferring over to the new person. So don't pass it on. Just give them my email address, because you'll be surprised. People call me about minor stuff when I'm trying to move the whole university. Ask me, is it raining out there on campus going to the game? I'm like, don't use all your ammo. I'm gonna be open and transparent to you, and I'm the friendliest president, the people president, as they say. But you only have that 6-shooter, so don't use all your ammo on some small little issues. But once again, you ain't come to hear me. You want to hear our athletic director, Dwayne Robinson. You next on the agenda, so I welcome you to the podium so you can address this audience and share some information. But thank you for your support, and together we shall achieve our goals. Thank you. And continue to support the football program and all the other sports, as well as Coach Thomas. Give them some words of encouragement, because it's not easy when you're on that sideline and when you're trying to put a play in within 20-something seconds. And then you have some student athletes now, when you put the play in, by the time from the sideline to the huddle, some of them forgot to play. Now, I hear several teammates like that now. That's the reason why I had to call the play, but support our athletic program, and it's a way to do things decent and in order. And, and we're going to hold them accountable every year. Evaluations. So we're going to evaluate people and hold them accountable, So this administration believes in giving you the support you need, not telling you who to hire, because at the end of the day, when it comes to that decision, I gave you everything you need. This is what you had, so now you got to uphold what you have, and we're just going to continue to support them. So we're going to support them, support, and this administration, we're going to hold people accountable, not only just me, but everyone across the university platform. Thank you.
You all know what kind of president we have, so I can't beat that. He's one of the best and the best that I've worked at 8 different institutions. I must say this is the best president that I've ever worked for. Not only is he committed to this university, but he's committed to the student athletes. And that's something that's hard to find, and as a boss, I couldn't ask for better, because one thing he does is keep me on my toes and holds me accountable, which is what I do to my staff as well. So I want to thank him for this opportunity, and thank you for allowing me to be your athletic director this time. I don't know if everyone in the room knows much about my background, but my parents are graduates of Alcorn, 70 and 68. I'm a graduate of Alcorn, 2002. I started falling in love with Alcorn. My parents used to bring me down to campus, and I would slide up and down the hallway in the dorms that they lived in. So for me, this is a full circle moment. I started working there in 1999. Used to hang out I went to Tougaloo and traveled down there quite a bit because I knew the university. Just giving you a little background so you don't think this is a stranger standing up here in front of you. This is someone that loves Alcorn just as much as everybody in this room. So I want to share that first and foremost. Tonight, we're celebrating a great occasion. It's an opportunity for us to welcome a new era of young men to becoming Alcorn State University Braves. And I want to thank each of you for coming out here tonight to celebrate that occasion. Tonight, we recognize the hard work of our coaching staff, assembling a class of talented student athletes who will make an impact on and off the field. This program has a legacy of excellence, and I have no doubt that this class will help continue that tradition. At the heart of this success is a leader. We have two, Dr. Cook and the person that I'm about to introduce. We have leaders who embody discipline, determination, and a commitment to developing young men into champions. Under their leadership, well, we're going to go back to football now. Under his leadership, Alcorn football continues to compete at the highest level, and the future is brighter than ever. I will reiterate just a few things that Dr. Cook said. Continue to support Alcorn. Continue to support all of our student athletes. We will continue to work hard for you and for them. It is my honor to introduce the man leading our program, our head football coach, Mr. Cedric Thomas. Good evening.
Excuse me, going to go ahead and bless the food, and as you receive your food, you come back in this area and sit down and you start eating, and our football coach will come at that time to introduce the staff. So let's pray. Father, we thank you again for this day. We thank you for Alcorn State University. We thank you for our president. We thank you for our faculty members, our staff, and we thank you for our students. We ask that you bless the food now. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen. So get your food, and Coach Thomas going to come in and do whatever. Run away, brother.
All right, so they're going to do that first, and what we'll probably try to do, we'll probably try to catch some of the coaches as they're coming through, and we'll definitely try to get a few words from them as we roll along. We'll take a timeout right here. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back. See if I can catch up with Dr. Cook. And get some comments from him. Dr. Cook coming up, as well as some of the other coaches. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after this 2-minute break. All right, we welcome you back. We are live here in Jackson at the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame and Museum. Glad you can join us for the 2025 football signing party. Plenty of interviews. Coaches will join us, assistant coaches, head coach Cedric Thomas. And we are joined by Alcorn President Dr. Tracy Cook, making some really good comments as we get ready for the 2025 season. We tried to get you on last year, Dr. Cook. You were like 2 feet from us. You were looking at us, and then next thing I look over, and you were gone. And so we get it. I mean, you keep a busy schedule, so we appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, yes, sir. I want to thank you for this opportunity. And in a few minutes, I'll be headed to the next event.
Oh, yeah. A lot of events for sure. So when you look at it, Dr. Cook, this opportunity, this event, last year was right next door and it was packed. A lot more space this go round.
Yes, and I'm so excited. Been fortunate to be a part of this event for the last several years, and I have watched it grow from small to where it is now. I'm just so delighted to see so many organizers and supporters of the football program here today to hear what type of athletes that we have coming for the 2025 year.
Speaking of 2025, we're going to get that list, but this is the first time we've had an opportunity to talk since the end of UAB was the last time we talked. Give us your evaluation of the 2024 season. People are still trying to process that. I know it's 2025. We'll see the new faces, but just give us your thoughts on what you saw. Being a former football player, played in the 90s when I got here, so you know what winning football looks like. You know, we had some good wins. It was tough at times, but just your assessment of the 2024 season.
Overall, it's going to take some self-responsibility from all levels, from the coaching staff as well as the players. I have a lot of times I have engagement with the student athletes, and I spend a lot of time on the campus in the evening time. And conversation I have with the players, I'm like, you got to do things beyond what the coach wants you to do as far as workout. You got to work out, you got to eat right diet, you got to get the proper amount of sleep on yourself, you got to perform in the classroom, outside of the classroom. You got to be able to attain that knowledge, because when you look at football, it's a little different than when I came through. We was able to practice a little longer than what they're practicing now.
Over how many times a day?
How many times a day? So when you take a particular game, you play on Saturdays, Sundays, you get up and you try to get treatments and run the kinks out. Coaching staff already have a game plan for the next week. So it's a lot of information you got to comprehend, play, because it's based upon your ability as it relates to the play calling, based on the ability of the athletes trying to play a chess game towards your opponent that you're going to go through. So you're going to actually have about 4 days to actually put a good game plan together, execute and practice, and then Friday night you arrive to the event. That Saturday, it's ready to lace up and play. So it's a little, it's going to take a little bit more effort on all parties as far as gelling together. This is a new administration team. Head coach is first year here as the head coach at Alcorn, but he has head coach experience, building his staff around him. My overall focus is building my head coaches to be administrators, being administrators on and off the field. When you hold our players accountable off the field, they'll be able to bring that discipline to the field. So that's the most focus right now, is talking to the athletic director, A.D. Robinson, who just been appointed athletic director in October, and having my weekly meetings with him as far as coaching the head coaches to be administrators, learning the whole gamut of what takes place from point A to point B, more to than just on the field, and then building a play call, providing coaches the resources they need. Last year they was able to get a chance to go to Tampa Bay. A lot of the coaches went there as far as getting some professional development, but I charge them, when you go get professional development, bring it back. Bring it back to be efficient in what you do on campus.
Well, how would you assess year one in terms of, we started with UAB, then we have Vanderbilt, we had some highs, obviously winning at Grambling, winning at Prairie View, had some pretty good moments. Just talk about year one overall.
You take 3 to 4 of those games, we could easily won. It's just a little mistakes, the mental mistakes, being in bad positions, not putting forth extra effort, injury end up affecting. And that's why I was talking about the players, what you do and how you take care of your body off the field. You can't just wake up the next day and say, I'm going to the training room. There's some exercise and stretching you have to do on your own. And it's just trying to get those particular student athletes in that mentality, how they got to eat right, do the proper treatments, prescribed treatments by the trainers on the field as well as off the field. So a little bit here and there, we could have been way better shape. But, you know, it's all about sustainable quarterback. When you have a sustainable quarterback, I know I have seen some improvement in the offensive line. We have an offensive line coach. Running back was fairly decent. Got some recognition on the SWAC initiative, so looking forward to build up on that. I'm all about building capacity. What worked last year, build up on that. What didn't work, let's try to find some position to fill that. Now, we know with this transfer portal, I notice a lot of times on the smaller HBCUs or HBCUs, it'd be a refresh start for a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
And they get opportunity to come here and they shine and put stats up and become SWAC recognition. Then next thing you know, the larger schools come pluck them there and offer them some NIL deals, and they're gone. So it's just like the faculty and staff on campus. Once we build good faculty members up and they do research, and once name recognition get out there, then, you know, the larger schools that can pay more money going to actually come pluck them up. But we can't use that as a hinder. We got to use that as, okay, who's the next person up? And that's where you build by building capacity. We have, 60-something football scholarships, as far as doing a better job interviewing those student athletes that want to be at Alcorn.
Yeah,
And sometimes you got to look at the local talent. He might be 2 inches off from what you're looking for, but he has the capacity and capable of fulfilling that position.
Yeah, and you look at this upcoming season, and with your NIL, how does that change the landscape of things in terms of SWAC, getting this talent? The talent is still out there, but players are being poached as free agency now, whoever's offering the most money. How do we combat that as best as we can? Because if a kid gets offered at another school a lot more money, he's probably inclined to take that. How do we fight back against that? Or is this is just where we are in terms of college athletics these days?
Yeah, it's a mindset. Right now, students feel they're supposed to get NIL deals and haven't even played it down. Even at the larger PWI schools you look at, they haven't built their credibility up yet, but they just feel because of namesake they think should be able to get the money. But you just got to spend a little bit more time in the classroom and teach. You got to build students up, student athletes. That's why you got to go to those small rural areas and find those individuals. I was a walk-on. First week of practice, I was 5th string tight end. But by the second or third week, I was up to number 2 tight end. It's a hidden gem. And I cultivated my talent and my skills with a lot of work I did outside of that particular practice area. So it's talent out there. We just got to do a better job going out there and finding talent and finding people who want to be in Alcorn.
Yeah, that's very important. And we got the upcoming football schedule. We released that. Just talk about the upcoming schedule, homecoming. I think it's a really attractive schedule. What you think?
Yeah, it is. And a lot of individuals need to understand this is a 10-year out schedule.
Yeah.
This majority, 60-70% of this schedule was created back in 2018. So this is a 10-year stint. 2028 is the last year. I know they say, we need more games. Our bye week should have been down further midway. In a perfect world, that's perfect, but it's not. And a lot of times, this is the hand that was dealt to us. And now we're trying to plug in, and we're trying to make sure we have a good balance where they can generate funding. Generating funding where they can be able to support the programs. That's why a lot of times we play those guaranteed games to generate because, our season ticket holders under 1,000. Under 1,000, you're talking about $40 a game. Season tickets $120, $20. Time that 1,000. That's just a drop in the bucket as far as the needs that need to be done for the athletic program for the football. Football is our revenue-generated sport, so we put more resources there. But also football from the revenue you receive, it support all the non-revenue sports.
What is the optimum number in terms of season tickets sold for the season? What is the top tier number? What would you like to see in terms of that number?
10,000.
So that's roughly half the stadium capacity.
Half the stadium capacity. See, when you do that 10,000, whether or not they come or not, that's 10,000 generate towards the athletic program. And then when they do the ratings or the rankings as far as the attendance, we still getting counted for 10,000 plus individuals who come to the actual game. So that's going to be our push. I'm working with a team on campus, how we're going to be able to get that out to our alumni as well as stakeholders, because a lot of times when you look at season tickets, corporations pretty much buy a lot of the tickets. They'll come in and do 100 season tickets and they just pass out in the community. Our alumni base, we have a strong alumni base. We have the faithful, but it's time to cultivate the next generation of alums to be a part as far as giving and seeing the value. Our job as administrators is to see people that are getting something for their money in return.
Yeah, and you talked about the master schedule. It is, I was told this is year 5 of that 10-year process. So we're halfway through. So 2027, 2028, those conference games are already aligned and already in the hopper. We just don't know what those are and when they are. So at some point in the next few years, you're going to come up with another 10-year master schedule. And I'm sure once that happens, the next few years, as you go the next 10 years, I'm sure you'll be much involved in terms of trying to line up those conference schedules to where with homecoming and all that, to kind of line that up.
Definitely that, because example, 100,000 today is now 100,000 9 years down the road. So the powers to be in negotiating these schedules need to be a forecast and seeing what that dollar value would be 7 years down the road, and not just take a contract on face value for that particular year. So that's the thing about working with individual professional development as far as being administrators with the head coaches, the athletic director, and have an understanding about what the forecast years down the road. So when we do have a PWI school that's a guaranteed game, we want to make sure the dollar value is right.
We're talking with Alcorn President Dr. Tracy Cook. We talked with A.D. Robinson about the Whitney project. 3 phases: the pool area, the offices, and the arena area. He mentioned about the pool. Looks like that pool is going to be something different as we roll forward. People are used to that. I didn't realize, and I never got a chance to swim in the pool, but I understand it was 13 feet at the deepest level.
Yeah, I think it was 15 feet.
15 feet.
Yeah,
that's pretty doggone deep.
Yeah, it was 15 feet. I spent many days in that pool. National Youth Sports Program, as well as in college, got an opportunity. But just going in, that system put in place in the 70s.
Yeah.
So to gut out and redo that whole facility, about $400,000, and that just been unused space for years.
Yeah.
And we're in a position now with this Whitney Phase 1 project. We concentrate on unused space. So that's the opportunity that with a pool area, it can be 2 levels where it can be able to accommodate a lot of our needs, because we have grown. Alcorn has grown since 1970-something. In order for us to compete with facilities, we got to make some changes. I have other plans for taking the pool area out, and my other activity plan, master plan, as far as moving like an outdoor type pool area for recreation.
So an outdoor pool instead of an indoor, it'd be outdoor pool. Okay.
Outdoor pool, lazy river. That's my wish list.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Kids now, they don't like to get their head on the water now. So you just got to adapt. A lot of people, they want to be able somewhere where they can sit in the water, where they can have their cell phone, still be able to communicate.
Yeah.
So.
The Whitney Arena. What's the time frame for when that's going to get done? And I know the teams are going to be probably playing their games elsewhere. I remember with the first Whitney renovation, we played in Utica at Hines. Yeah. I remember making that trip up and down. Is that kind of the way it's going to look once you get to the arena phase?
I'm thinking on Phase 1, we'll still be able to use that usable space as far as the arena on Phase 1, because we're concentrating on the back part with the pool area, upgrading all the HVAC units, the outside, putting air handlers in. There's a lot of work. You're probably going to have about $6 million that you don't see as far as when you're talking about the air handlers, elevator in the building, chillers, the boilers, those type of things. Phase 2 going to be inside the gym. So we just got to see. Typically when you initiate a program, it takes about 18 months. 18 months, and now with construction, a lot of people doing a lot of construction, because you think about the constructors that get bids. We compete against all the universities, all the community college, all the K-12 school districts. Because those same contractors actually get those same bids. So, and the cost and demand. Now with our administration, current administration, with things, a lot of things we have are imported. So it's a possibility that's going to put a delay on supplies. Almost back to the time when COVID came through, when it was hard to find a refrigerator. Deep freezer is just a time frame. So we just have to work through that. And I'm raised by grandparents and mom, believing you just got to be able to adapt and adjust and be flexible to what's thrown your way.
Talk about the fall semester, and then we're in the middle of we just started the spring semester. How are things looking from an academic piece in terms of enrollment and all that as we get into the second month of the semester?
We're growing. Our fall semester received the highest number in a minute. Right? We was over a little bit over 3,000, but when you're going through the process, 3 or 4 probably drop off. So it was like 2,995. This spring semester, our number count is higher than what it was this time last year. It's about retention, retaining students. When you talk about enrollment, it's expensive to go to college now.
Yeah.
You know, you look at that average yearly tuition cost is $20,000 a year. That's $10,000 a semester. And a lot of students don't have a game plan. Parents, when they in K-12, need to be figuring out if their child going to go to college, how you set aside some funding so you can be able to support them to go to college. And then the other thing, too, is being able to provide the right counseling and guidance to our students because, hey, I'm getting ready to go into an $80,000 investment for a $40,000 job. That's I see why a lot of students problem. So that's what my initiative as far as my career and pre-professional service on student affairs as well as the academic side. Let's educate our students. You want to be able to get in a situation where you can actually find some careers that's going to be suitable to what's your income and your lifestyle you might want to do.
Well, you talked last time we talked at UAB. You talked about the enrollment trends, and this is the final question. Enrollment will peak, and then there might be some challenges because I think what you talked about, the different options, the JUCO route where you can get those certifications and not necessarily go to four-year colleges. Is that the challenge that you kind of see going forward?
I mean, we get ready to face an enrollment cliff as far as a decline in population. When you drive around these little smaller areas, you take Jefferson County, where I'm from. When I came through, we actually had about 140 some seniors graduating. Now you look at that trend now, you might have 70 or 80 individuals walking across that state. Out of that 80, how many of those are actually going to go to college? So that's what you look at all these small little towns in the state of Mississippi, they're shrinking. It's not like growth. The growth right now is on the coast, up by South Haven, and a little bit on the other side of I-20. So it's a challenge. And then when they go in the community, and then powers to be pushing workforce development, and workforce development is great, but individuals not going to want to do the type of work when they 20 versus when they 40.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about balance. We got to be creative how we create certificate tracks with students who can be programmers. With this new AI, we just got to make sure we got to get ahead of that with AI to cultivate our students and let them look and see opportunity. Problem we have, a lot of students just not exposed. And when you look at HBCU, what makes us so unique, we bring on students that probably wouldn't have the opportunity to go to college to the highest of scholars. So that's a wide range to educate an individual.
Dr. Cook, I know you got to go. We appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
That's Dr. Tracy Cook joining us here. A lot to talk about, a lot in the hopper as he's here at the signing party. He's got another deal going here, so we'll take a 2-minute timeout. We'll be right back as the 1871 Collective. I'll tell you what, we'll keep it right here and see. We've got the collective and the group up front. So let's go back to the podium.
If you were here, you heard me talk about a sprocket, a wheel, a gear, and it takes all of those teeth to make things happen. So tonight, we're going to bring that to fruition. What we're doing tonight is going to try to bring to those young men things that they have at other universities. So our first goal collaboratively is to put the names on the back of their jerseys for this year. So what we want to do, and you'll see it coming out tomorrow or the day after, we're going to put together a fundraising campaign to get $7,000 to put the name on each jersey. So tonight, we'd like to thank Mr. Moore, Mr. AP, Golden Ham guys. It's going to take all of us. They call me a young alumni. I'm 46 years old, all right? But I'm not getting any younger. These guys are gonna have to bring on people behind them. And I know we all understand that the climate has changed presently. And nobody's coming to save us. We're gonna have to save ourselves. So look forward to us doing a lot more things together, collaboratively, to help our university. Appreciate your support.
Coach, whenever you get ready.
All right, here's Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas.
I won't hold you long. Just got some points of emphasis. Know it's a great time. The biggest thing for us is we got about anywhere from 38 to 45 new student athletes, that's student first, that's attending this great university. The good thing is about 30 of those young men are already here. And so without further ado, I'd like to thank Dr. Cook, A.D. Robinson, all the administration across campus, because you're talking about 30 new enrollees, registration saying, Coach, that's unheard of in Alcorn. We hadn't done that before, but all those guys are eligible, all those guys are participating, all those guys got the monetary scholarships, everything posted, and we're rolling. That's a great job from administration and everybody that's helping when we talk about the brand. It's not just about the athletic side, but we get a lot of support across campus, and so I just wanted to thank them. The wives, I know it's been a long, hard time while these coaches been on the road going to get these student athletes from all different walks of life, and you guys can look at that paperwork and see from New Jersey to Colin to Alabama, you know, and when these coaches on the road, these wives are at home with kids and with family and not with, you know, their husband. And so I just wanted to personally thank you guys for allowing me to share your husbands while, you know, they're on the road helping Alcorn from a student athlete standpoint. So wives, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. My coaching staff, I couldn't do it without you. I think y'all heard the song before that Webby always talk about. You know, he got his people with me, so I'm excited to have my people with me. This time last year, I couldn't say that. You know, when you look at the roster this time last year, it wasn't a lot of offensive guys because I didn't have an offensive staff really in Tech. And so some of the results of it from a residual standpoint, you didn't see a lot of touchdowns might have been thrown or a lot of touchdowns being scored. But you got to put in context of the recruiting that drawn up and who's going to drop their kid off at a daycare with no supervision that they familiar with. And so that's kind of how that worked. But now I got the whole staff with me. I'm excited about those guys on the second time to go around. And even with those, we still, in every game as we recap it, we had a chance. We had a chance. And that's only not just from the coaching staff, but for you guys supporting. You guys have no earthly idea what it means for a student athlete who mom and dad can't attend, but when you look up in Mobile, he got a lot of moms and dads. So continue to support. At the end of the day, we're servants of these young brothers, regardless of the W's and L's. It don't define us, it don't define them, but it's about those student athletes. And so for us, the mission and the vision don't change. If school is cool, you don't go to school, you can't come outside and have recess, and we're taking the same characteristics that's associated with this great game, such as discipline, the hard work in football, so they can apply it to everyday life. And we say the league is a mindset. It ain't about running up and down no grass and putting no ball in no hole. We got a guy that just graduated in microengineering that's working at Toyota. He in the league now. You know, 700, 800 credit score, making 6 figures, about 22 years old. That's the league. And so if we can continue to do that and you guys continue to support us on this journey, we gonna win and we will win. And so I'm excited about where we are. I'm excited where we headed. You look at the guys that we brought in, just an overview now of what we did from a recruiting standpoint. When it was all over, after that last one, you know, and my soul hurting, to look in that stands and see on that scoreboard, it didn't come out the way we wanted, then I got to shake that off and I got to go in and I got to say why. I got to identify the problem and I got to fix it. So when I pull both of those championships, that's the Western Conference champion and then that's the SWAC champion, and I look at those 2 deep rosters, and I look at the height and the weight, and I look at the measurables, and I sit there and say, overall, from a 2 deep standpoint, I was 2 inches shorter, and I was about 27 to 31 pounds lighter. So my thing to the coaches, once I give them that graph and I get them to understand that if they don't have them at them 2 champion schools, I don't want them. They gotta be that. Those are the measurables. Now, there's some internal things inside, jumping, running, academics, all that plays a part. But I can't run out my little 5'8", 5'9" DB and he's 6'4", 6'5". That's done. You won't see that this year. And they on campus now. So our biggest thing was to identify the problem and then find the solution. And what we did, the solution for us was academically and character first. But now we just got a big product. We was a look good team, and we beat some good look teams, but we lost to the big good teams. So now we'll be a big good team. And we ain't just talking about it. You're going to see it. When you look at that paperwork, and then when you see these guys, the first thing for us was good character guys that we can go to institutions, they can put their stamp on. That's going to be a great representation of us on and off the field, but also damn good football players and big good football players. And that's what this coaching staff did. And so D-line, you know, it was big. You look at Southern, they just crammed it down our throat. We could have put in almost anybody out there. But mark my word, that won't happen again. It won't. That won't happen. And we got them guys in right now. That won't happen. So we fixed it. Coach Cove here, get up here, talk about the D-line play. Coach Roberson, he did a really good job. We graduated a lot of DBs. Ed Summerall, a really good player. Andrew Smith, been here forever. Those guys are gone. And, Coach Taylor talk about the DBs and how we transition those guys over. Offensive line, we had a couple kids get in the portal, and you can look on that sheet, we replaced them with really good quality guys. You talk about the quarterback position, we went and got 2 guys that played, that's going to learn the system that's already in, for the spring. Wide outs. And the reason why, when we look at it, guys, this family, the reason why we didn't throw it and get a whole bunch of touchdowns, they couldn't get open. And it ain't all on them. But you're talking about 3 freshmen. Ty Warren, he never played. And he scored more touchdowns, family, than he did this year than he did in his whole career. He came from a triple option background in high school. He never caught the ball. He had 2 touchdowns in his whole career in 4 years. And he caught more than that. And we'll be better. Damon Jones was a walk-on. And he worked his tail off. T, we love T. T was older, but T about as fast as me. And I love him to death. And you watch Truck. Coach knew what Truck access was, and he had 10 touchdowns. We tried to find any way to get him the football. So it wasn't all on the schematics, it wasn't all on the kids, but it is now, because we got opportunity to go get our own groceries, and now we get to make our own meal in front of our enemies. So it's going to be a lot of people on that other sideline that's going to not only see the works of our labor, but you guys will be. I know you're proud. We hear it, and we got thick skin. I can take it, the criticism, because a lot of you vested. A lot of you can say what you want when it's right, because I get on the phone and call you for things that these student athletes can't get. When things happen in that dorm, when mom and dad's sick and he can't get home. 1871, we appreciate it. I was here in 2012, 2013, and even before, when we didn't have that whatever. I don't know what the amount they get, but I know it means something when I hear them on that bus saying, oh, it's almost the first of the month. I say, that's grown folks talk, because they know what that means. They ain't talking $3 an hour. They ain't talking $5 an hour. They ain't talking $7 an hour. They saying at the first of the month, I can right some of these wrongs. A-Club, we appreciate it. You guys are laying a foundation forever that these guys, when they go to these tents and moms and dad ain't there and they ain't got no money to eat, they can go over there and fellowship with you. So it's about Alcorn at the end of the day. So whether it's an A, whether it's an 18, 15, it's about ALCORN in all caps. And it's about these babies. So we're going to continue to make you proud on and off this football field with some really good products that we'll get into. And we appreciate the support. We appreciate it because we see it. Everybody say, Coach, you got 8 games on the road. Well, I don't look at that, because the first thing I do if you see me, I look in that crowd. It's like a home game to me, because I see us and I see the support. So it don't matter if it's Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, PG, Fayette. For us, it's a home game. So continue to support these young brothers, continue to show up, and keep being critical, because at the end of the day, it's about Alcorn. And when it's all said and done, me and my wife going to be sitting on that hill watching whoever root Alcorn on. And so I just want to get this thing rolling with the student athletes, and I think we got our first DBs, all right? And so once we go through them, you jot your questions down. When it's over, feel free to shoot them at me, and I'll be able to recap this whole thing once we get done. Thank you. Coach Taylor.
All right, guys, so first up, we got a guy from my hometown, Jacoby Anderson. He's from McDonald 35 Senior High School, same school I went to as well. He's a first-team All-State guy, first-team All-Region. He also had offers from Marshall and Arkansas State. Next up, we have Patrick Kent. He's from Cahokia Community College, 6'3", 190 pounds, from Shaw, Mississippi, the Delta. Coach T love those Delta kids. He went to Thomas Elwood High School. He's first team All-Region in high school, notable offers Mississippi Valley State and Falcon. Next up, we got the hometown hero, Damon Miller, 6'3", 195. He's a Southern Miss transfer from Port Gibson, first team All-State, played in the Miss Al game, 247 rated, 3-star athlete, notable offers from Tulane. This one that we glad to have back home. Next up, we have Chris Burnett. He's a DB, 6 foot, 172 pounds. He's from North Alabama. He transferred from North Alabama from Yazoo City, Mississippi. He's a kid that I actually recruited before. He ended up going to North Alabama. And then right when the transfer portal opened, he called me and said, "Coach, I made the wrong decision. I'm ready to come back." So we're excited about him as well. Next up, we have Timothy Jasper. He's a DB, 6'1", 180 pounds. He's transferring from Arkansas Monticello from Little Rock, Arkansas. Accolades, 44 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 5 PBUs at Arkansas Monticello. This is a guy that actually played at the Division II level at a pretty good school and a pretty good conference, and we're excited to have him. And next up is Ernest Lyons. He's a defensive back, 6'1", 175 pounds from John F. Kennedy High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. Notable offers from Grambling, Arkansas State, and Central Arkansas. He's one of the kids that, a younger guy made us get bigger, and I just like recruiting the city, and I'm glad that he's coming.
How we doing? Good, good. All right. First off, I just want to introduce myself. I know early on in the night, got a chance to get around to each table and shake some hands. This time last year, didn't really have a chance to be here. I was at another university and transitioning over. But again, I'm Coach Wallace. All right, I work with the outside linebackers, as we refer to as nickels. All right, and I also work with special teams as well. Okay. First guy up that I'll talk about, Ricardo Butler. He's a safety nickel for us, 5'10", 185. He's going to be transferring in from Coland Community College. All right, hometown, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Another Delta kid, Northside High School. Okay, notable offers, Charleston Southern, Delta State. He was also an all-state academic honor kid, so a very smart football player. Next kid I want to talk about, Brent Barnes. All right, Brent Barnes is from the Birmingham, Alabama area. He's transferring in from Coland Community College as well. All right, this is a physical kid that's already on campus. He's learning the system. He's going to do some good things for us this year. Brent Barnes. Next student athlete we got up is Elijah Ruffin. All right, Elijah's a safety, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's transitioning or transferring in from Northwest Community College, originally from the Neshobe Central High School. He was a first-team All-State guy coming out of high school, graduated top 5 of his class academically. Next kid we got, all right, Mr. Snowman, Tyreek Snow, safety, 6'1", 180, transferring in from Jones Community College, all right, originally from Newton, Mississippi. Notable offers that he had, UCA, Charlotte, Eastern Michigan. Tyreek Snow.
All right, how's everybody doing? Good, good. Hey, first guy we got up is Deshaun. I'm Coach Covington. I'm the defensive line coach. All right, first guy we got up is Deshaun Palmer. All right, Deshaun is from Cleveland, Mississippi. He's a transfer from Colin Community College. All right, Deshaun is about 6'1", 305. He is a true nose, a run-stopping demon. All right, next up, we got Roscoe Malloy. Roscoe is from Addison, Alabama. He's a graduate of East Mississippi Community College. Roscoe is 6 foot, 305. He is a hybrid nose guard. He can kind of move from that nose guard position also to that D tackle position in the right situation. All right, next up we have Kenneth Andrews. Kenneth is from Clinton, Mississippi. He's a graduate of Colin Community College as well. Kenneth is 6'2", 275. He is kind of a hybrid defensive lineman, kind of a Swiss Army-like. He can play anything from inside to outside. Next we have Tony DeLoach. Tony is from Macon, Mississippi. He is a graduate of East Central Community College. Tony is about 6'1", 285. He is a true 3-tech or a defensive tackle. All right, next up we got Corey Robinson. Corey's from Madison, Mississippi. All right, his senior year he tallied 80 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Coach Dion Robinson. I'm the linebackers coach and also the defense coordinator here. And I also am a proud alumni at Alcorn State University. First guy we got up is Jaquel Irvin, all right, hometown hero, Natchez, Mississippi. And we know this kid is a 3-star kid out of Natchez, had over 30 offers. Most of them was FBS offers, and he chose to stay close to home and come to Alcorn State University. Jaquel's right at about 6'3", 225 pounds. He be playing outside linebacker for us here. Next up, we got Nair Graham, okay? Nair Graham is from Camden, New Jersey. He was #1 linebacker in New Jersey coming out of high school. He was a 3-star kid coming out of high school also. He was a JUCO All-American. He stands right at about 6'1", 220 to 225 pounds. All right, next up we got Tobias Hinton, okay, out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Transfer from Mississippi State. He's sitting at about 6'3", 235 pounds. He'll be playing outside linebacker for us this upcoming season. 4-star prospect coming out of high school. Again, he had every, school under the sun after this guy. And he's another guy who decided to stay close to home and be a part of his Alcorn Brave family.
Hello. How you doing today? Appreciate y'all for coming out. Coach Tremaine Watson, offensive line coach. Excited to see everybody. Excited for another year. Get a lot of emails from some of you guys. If I don't respond back, I'm sorry. I will get back to you. But if you send me anybody under 6'4" and really big, I don't want it. So just kind of let you know that. But I appreciate you guys for recruiting outside of the places that we can't hit. This first guy up is Jordan Towns. He's a kid from LA Valley out of California. He's a Los Angeles kid. First team all conference and a really good conference. It's going to be really good for us at the tackle spot. So really excited about him. Next young man, Jaden Wynn, 6'4", 305 from Cisco Community College out of Austin, Texas. Kid came to us really highly recruited, multiple Power 5 offers. Had the opportunity to come down to the yard, and he just said, Coach, I want to play football like what you guys are doing. I don't care about cars, money, or nothing else. So we're really excited to have this young man. Next young man is Jaden Bryant, 6'4", 320, transfer from Norfolk State. Kind of one of my babies I brought with me down to Mississippi, so he's a long way from home, so we got to make sure we love him up, and he's going to be really good for us, so really excited about it. Started all 12 games in Norfolk State, was preseason all-conference guy, so we're really excited about getting him down here. Next young man, Derek Cooper, 6'4", 325. He's from Rancho Cucamonga High School in California, another California guy. Probably one of the top guys in the state that I think was really missed out on, that we're super excited to have. Big and massive young man's gonna be really good for us. All right, next young man is going to be Elijah Huster, 6'7", 300, transferred from Lackawanna Community College. He's a Delaware kid. Kind of got him here, had opportunity to go to UMass, didn't want to do it, wanted to be a Brave. So we're really excited about this guy, going to be able to do some tackle and guard for us. 6'7". 6'7".
How you guys doing? All right. Coach Jermaine Gales, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. Pleased to be here tonight. Bunch of beautiful faces in here, I tell you. And some of you, eyes getting a little low. Y'all done got that good food in you. All right, we got to wake up. Wake up. All right, the first young man that I want to talk about is Jalen Tolbert, okay? Jalen comes to us from Howard University. Very headsy young man. He's very skilled with the football, has a very quick release, played in 4 games most recently, and was able to put together some numbers that were fairly impressive for only playing 4 games. He wasn't the starter at the time, but has a good chance to help us do some really good things here at Alcorn State. All right, next young man is Andre Washington. Okay, Andre Washington, excuse me. Excuse me. Andre Washington comes to us from UNC Charlotte. All right, didn't get a chance to play in any game time situations, but had an opportunity to play previously at South Carolina State University. He is about 6'3", 215 pounds. He's built like a Greek god and can spin the football, but most importantly, he is a true dual threat, and I'm excited to have him on the yard. And both of these young men are here now, learning the system.
Hey, how are y'all doing today? Hey, my name's Ryan Booz. I coach the running backs. We're going to talk about a couple guys right here. The first one up is Carl McDonald. He's a kid from Natchez, Mississippi. Great athlete in high school, all-state in the South, all-district. Did a really good job this year. Really excited about him. He is on campus, was an early graduate, so fired up for what he can do this spring. Trey Miner, another Natchez kid. Okay, gonna have a lot of Natchez guys in the room, but very excited about Trey. Gonna give us an explosive aspect to the room. Also gonna be able to return some kicks. Had a really good year at Co-Lin. He ran for about 800 yards and was a top 100 running back, or not, top 10 running back in junior college. Very fired up about him. He had offers from Prairie View and Southern University, and again, decided to stay home. Very excited about him. Reggie Davis, he comes from UT Chattanooga. He's originally from Montgomery, Alabama. Really excited about him. Ran for 800 yards up at Chattanooga last year. Was a first team all conference in the SoCon. He's here on campus as well. Again, a bigger back. Going to give Jacorian Sewell a nice compliment. Very excited about all these guys, really. The best thing about it is all three of them are here on campus, learning the system, and getting ready to rock and roll for spring ball. So. Here we go. Appreciate it, guys.
Good evening. If most of y'all are like me, in 2014, we won the national championship, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, Coach T's hired another coach because I don't know Deion Robertson. I know Deion Roberson. I had to look up, like, who is that? That's Coach Tubby. But anyway, continuing on the tradition at tight end, man, we've been very fortunate the last 2 years to have not only an all-conference guy, but an All-American in Griffin. So, we're hoping that this next young man, as well as with these two guys, with what we have on campus, will be able to keep up that tradition in that room. First guy is Detrick Borden, 6'3", 240 from Garden City Community College out in Kansas. Home is Birmingham, Alabama. And the next guy is Kelton Mann, tight end, 6'3", 205, out of, I say Louisville, but y'all say Louisville High School, part of a state championship team 2 years ago, went back to the state championship this year. They lost a young man that I think will be the future, will give us a matchup problem, 6'3", 205. And he was committed to us a long time ago and stayed there. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Coach AR. I'm the receivers coach. I'm thrilled to introduce what amounts to our first true wide receiver recruiting class. First guy I'm going to introduce is going to be a Garden City Community College transfer. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri. He was a 3-star wide receiver in high school as well as an all-region athlete. He's coming in at 6'5", 215 pounds. He's a physical route runner receiver as well as a red zone threat. That's going to be Elijah Griffin. Second on the dock is going to be Jarvis Rush. He is a University of Akron transfer, originally from Louisville, Mississippi, and Louisville High School. He was a 3-star receiver coming out of junior college. He's going to be 6'4", 180 pounds. He's an overall wideout. Can play all over the field. Saw a lot of meaningful snaps at Akron. Scored a big-time touchdown against Kent State, as well as seeing meaningful snaps against big-time programs like South Carolina and Ohio State. Number 3 is going to be Jacoby Matthews. He is a Division I bounce back from Florida International University, originally from Macomb, Mississippi, and North Pike High School. Played at Southwest Mississippi Community College. He is a speed demon. He can play in the slot, as well as be a return specialist for us. So he's going to be all over the place. Jacoby Matthews. And last but certainly not least is going to be Nico Sandifer. He is a 6'4", 205-pound wide receiver from Macon, Georgia. He's another guy that can play all over the field. He's transferring from Central Georgia Technical College. He also has 4-year experience starting out at West Georgia. So he's another guy, older guy with some college experience. He's going to be able to come in and be a day one impact. He'll be here for us in the summertime.
I guess I have to do the special. We gonna miss old Noah, but the kicking game is a major part of what we do, and we knew we had to replace a couple holes there. Frank did a really good job for us this year. So at the kicker position, we got an all MEAC kid. That's not a bad trade-off when you trade an all SWAC kid for an all MEAC kid. But Coach Watson, he was there and told us a lot about him. He kicked a 61-yarder to win, and that's on tape. And so we're excited. He's on campus now. I can't say enough of you guys. When these guys come on visits and you guys interact with them, we got a kid from backing up. We got a kid from New Jersey. And all he could say after he went to all them institutions was, Coach, man, it's family. That's a testament to you all, because we don't have a lot of bricks and mortars when you go through and look at buildings and infrastructure, but we got a lot of people that care. And so I can't say that enough. And Grandin is one of those guys. He's on campus now, and we're excited about him being a part of our special team unit. Demetrius Duval, want to keep some pressure on Frank. Sometimes Frank get a little lazy and that thing will roll a little bit on him. So we made sure he don't just sit around and get lazy either and get high off the hog. So Coach Wallace did a really good job. He's from that area, that Ohio area. And, he told me about him. I saw him on tape and I told him to get him, if he can bring him down. And the kid came sight unseen. And then he's on campus also. And so that's a testament of Coach Wallace and his recruiting area, but also the Alcorn way, because when I talked to his mom and she said she looked on YouTube and saw nothing but great things, she dropped her baby off and had never seen the place. And so we're excited about him, being here to help us kick and punt for us. Round of applause for these coaches, you guys. I stand before you excited about this journey. Them some good groceries up there. Coaching and teaching, my wife's an educator, so coaching and teaching ain't never been no problem for us. So we just got to have the right materials. And as you see, we got the right materials. 30 of those guys on campus now. I can't say it enough. Thanks to administration, it never been done. You know, I'm talking to former players, Howard Clark, Roach, and I'm telling them, hey, look, we got 30 guys on campus at midyear, and they said they ain't never happened. You know, having 30 new teammates to come in. And that's a testament to administration allowing us to get those guys in, academically being eligible, and those guys ain't just sitting in the dorm. Those guys are eligible to participate, and those guys are going through the rigors of workout right now. And so, you know, and also Dean Rice, my wife, you know, work with student services. You know, we got to give them a lot to do. We got to keep them busy. You know, we got to make that Alcorn experience be worthwhile so it ain't that midnight train in the middle of the night. And so far, so good. And so we're excited, you know, about these young men. We're excited about moms and dads. We don't just bring 18, 19-year-old brains to campus. We want grown people. And a lot of grown people came and, you know, saw the place. And I can't say it enough. Now, a lot of those grown people on my lead in, you know, they look at the building and say, Coach, I feel, you know, I had a couple mamas now, this family, you know, this family now. I had a lot of mamas, you know, come in and, Coach, this thing feel dirty. You know, looking in the top of the roof. But when that son left Sunday morning, I'm coming to school. It's family. And so those are some things when I talk about tomorrow's club and how important you guys' donations are to be able to help the experience to where moms and dads no longer feel dirty in the gym or in the facility. It helps. We need it. We need it. We need it. You see what these guys did, you know, 1871 A Club. But there's a lot of junior college guys, really good players, because right now we're losing to Division I's on the transfers because when they say, Coach, man, I don't want to stay in the dorm. I'm 24 years old. I don't have any other sectors. Yeah, I call Patton's because Patton got some property. He got some trailers. And I'm fine with that. They fine with it because there's some nice trailers. But when I can't do the logistics of getting them that, they say, Coach, man, I just went to so-and-so, because I got an apartment, you know, because if they ring that fire alarm in that dorm, the private room is all what we got. They got to come out that private room. They got to get out. But if they're in that trailer on the stretch, or if they in a property that's not on campus, then we can win some of those fights. And that's what I'm begging the support of financially to tomorrow's club, to be able to bridge that gap. I don't get it. The coaches don't get it. It's for the student-athlete experience. It's for guys to come in and say, Coach, I appreciate it. Hey, this all I needed. You can match the cost of attendance that I got or gonna get from Coastal Carolina, or what I'm gonna get from Akron, or what I'm gonna get from other schools. It helps. And so I'm pleading for you guys to be able to just donate as much as you can, when you can, to tomorrow's club, to be able to just help athletics from a football standpoint, be able to bridge the gap with some of these guys who got a little bit more infrastructure, but don't have the family aspect. But financially, we want to be able to keep that up. We got this PFF database. It's about 14,000. It actually helped us win a game because when we can go in and see a particular set or a particular kid that's catching the ball in a certain area and Coach Rowe put a game plan to stop them, it's because we don't have to go through the system that we have to try to find it. We can plug it in 7 minutes, we can see where number 87 catches the ball every single time. But that's $14,000 yearly. And this year I had to pay for it out the Tomorrow Club, and that Tomorrow Club is almost depleted. Not because of me, you know, because it's the refueling of it is low. And so we need you guys to continue to pour in Tomorrow Club, go directly to athletics as far as football, so we can bridge the gap for these student athletes' experience. And if we can do that and we can maintain that, not only will we still be at a certain level, we'll continue to grow, we'll continue to be above and beyond as some other people change the landscape, because family is not what it's been over the past with this NIL transfer portal and what we did in 14, 15, 16, 17. You know, you had a Terry Winnington for 3 years. You had a Sterling Shippey for 4 years. You had a John Gibbs for 4 years. That's not happening anymore. You can forget it. It's a one-year runner. You know, I talked to Malachi just yesterday, and I ain't gonna tell you the exact amount, but it's way over $10,000 a month. Now, I can't compete with $10,000, but what I can compete with is a little more when he can stay off campus or have a non-dormitory, and then financially where I don't have to spend the money in the budget to get shoes. I got a kid, if you watch the Prairie View game, he got tape on the front of his shoes because we only can purchase one pair. And when it rains, those shoes ain't no good. That's unfair to him. He busts his tail. Ronald Brown is a Conference All-American, 1871, just blessed him. But what about the ones that's not receiving it? They shouldn't have to take their shoes up because the sole or the front of it is coming out. And so we get what we got in the budget. I got to be a better steward of it. However, if I can keep the budget, and I can use outsources to be able to get them, different things, different shoes, different, wristbands, gloves, things of that sort, then not only that experience better, but he won't drop as many balls because that thing does get, get wet. And kids want stuff. They want stuff. Our babies don't ask for a whole lot. But when they go talk to their buddies and they got this and they got that and they got this, and then they come to me and say, Coach, how can I get that? Just the fact that you guys are going to put them names on the back of their jersey is going to be not only a great advancement for them and their experience, but for their moms and dads. We love Alcorn. But inside of Alcorn, there's still some individuality where their mom and dad can look at the back of that name on there and say, that's my baby. He represents our whole lineage, our whole generation. And so, I can't say it enough. Tomorrow's club, please invest. Please, please, please. And whatever you need from me, I'll come show up, I'll pull up, I'll talk, whatever I got to do. If I mow some yards, I'll rake some grass. We need it. I ain't spending a quarter. I just want these babies when they leave and they walk that stage or when they go to another institution, they saying, Coach, I'm not leaving because of the experience. I'm leaving because over $10,000. And I can say, let's go get the next one. We had a hell of a ride. That's it. So I'm excited. Thank you for all the support. And if we got time on the docket, if you guys got any questions, feel free. You know me, I ain't dodging nothing. We can talk business because it's family. Everybody good? Yes, sir. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same. The scheme is gonna be the scheme. When I go back through and I break it all down, it ain't the scheme. When your quarterback gets sacked a bunch of times and the quarterback's not a natural passer and can't put it where it's supposed to be and the wide out can't get open, you can go get John Gruden. You can go get him. A lot of times we talk about what the high-level coach is doing, but the high-level coaches don't have tea cakes. So we had some tea cakes, and that's a really good, type of dessert back in the day, but that thing was hard. We got some Hostess cupcakes now. My thing to the ones that always talk about the coaches that's on these high levels, let's trade places. Why we ain't saying, let's put our staff at Ohio State with what they got and put them where we at, and let's see what they do. We won't say that. I stand in front of you, excuse my French, I'll be damned, we scored 7 touchdowns in the air this year. You can mark my word on that. But when I go look at the system, it ain't the system. We got 6'4", 205. We got 6'3", 180. That's on that edge now. I can throw it up there to him. But it's hard to do that when you got 5'9", 5'10", true freshman or sophomore that ain't played. And so that's me critiquing myself, but also critiquing them guys over there. We got what we need. So it ain't the system. We're going to go fast when we can, and we're going to score points. You mark my word. We're going to stop the run, and you're going to be proud of what the product that we put out there, and we're going to be disciplined. We're going to do those things. But we just got a better product. Yeah, we got a coach. We got a teacher. We got a lot of new guys, as you see. But coaching and teaching is in our blood. The problem is when you're coaching and teaching a little one, when you get against a big one, you're going to get pushed around. And I'll be damned we get pushed around this year. Next question. So the junior college kids, they got 2. Some got 3 because of the red shirt. The question was the eligibility status of them. We got 3 of those high school kids on campus now. But like I talked about the landscape changing, it really don't matter what the eligibility look like because you're on a 1-year rental. Because if they come in and they put up stats, 10,000, 7,000, 5,000. When I was at Southern Miss, Coach Hop told me I had the swag. I go through every player. If you're a good player, let them know. He got a bag for him. Well, you know who's doing that now? Ryan Stanchek. He at Texas El Paso. He said, Coach, I ain't going to get yours, but I'm going to go over there and I'm going to get so-and-so, so-and-so. And that's the God honest truth now. That's what's happening. Because we're becoming the developmental pieces for the big boys. They come here, play for a year, they do well, How can I be mad for a young brother that just went from getting his refund, getting for XYZ to $7,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month? And that's what's happening. So in our mind, that's why you see the surplus of 40 kids now. Last year when I came in, I said, I ain't touching nothing. You got your money. I did my part. But 6 and 6 ain't good enough. So it's some hard decisions that was made inside that roster. I got to tell some moms and daddies, this young man no longer can be a part right now because he's just a little good player. And that team that beat us on that last game of the season, they ain't roll out a whole lot of good look players. They roll some good big players out there, and that's how you win championships. Can you say that again? Well, right now it's closed, but it opened up again at the end of the spring. The question was, is the expiration date. Now they got a deal on the docket where they trying to just make the portal one time. So that at least allows us to get at least 12 months with them. I.e. Devin Dawson. Last year, Devin Dawson, all conference kid, went through the spring with us and then he left. Well, when you hear these Division I guys, Ole Miss, Nebraska say, I'm not having no spring game. I ain't fatting the frog for the snake, because they don't want to go put that thing out on TV and then all of a sudden they cherry pick their players. And that's what's happening. And so some of these guys, we go have a good spring and they get out and they put it all over social media, some of these will be gone. But we got enough depth right now that we lose one or two, we'll still be locked and loaded and we still got time to be able to pick up some pieces. April 5th, spring game will be April 5th. Right now, we're working with G in 1871 and Mr. Robinson. We want to have a social and a fundraiser, April 4th, somewhere at a facility. Mr. Robinson is working on that, the location, but we're going to have it that Friday before the game. You know, just a fundraiser. I don't care if it's $1 a sock. If we can get anything and raise it and start it, it's on me now. You know, I got to be able to tap some pockets and say big, please. I'm tired of waiting. I had a really good talk with Dr. Marcus Ward, and he gave me the blueprint and gave me the logistics, and so now I'm hitting the ground running. I had a really good talk with my AD, sat down, man, there wasn't no red tape or nothing. And so now my guys, I got a team that's setting fundraising, talk to G for a couple hours. We're trying to get down even on the 21st with Tom Small and them guys in the A Club. We trying to do something down, since everybody gonna be at the Legacy Bowl, we trying to have a fundraiser, you know, down there. And I ain't too proud to beg. If it's $1, that's a sock we can buy. That's a glove, that's something. But we got to get the ball rolling, and it starts with me. So fundraising would be a really big initiative, starting with me, you know, going forward. March 3rd. March 3rd, we'll be outside. We'll get the first 3 days in before spring break, take the spring break off, and then we'll hit the ground rolling right after spring break. So March 3rd will be our first practice. And y'all know it's always open. Come see us, come fellowship us up with them. You know, I know how those guys talk when they can't get moms and dads to see them and then they seeing familiar faces. I can't say it enough. We appreciate it. Continue to do it. And then I talked to Mama Brave and she got on me pretty good. Yeah, and I'm gonna let everybody know, because if y'all see this, I need y'all to help me. I'm coaching, I'm looking at the field. Now we got club sideline, but you know the club do close. The club won't stay open all night. But if y'all seeing shucking and jiving and cutting up on that sideline when it's supposed to be bidding, I need y'all from those stands to pull your bet out. We need to stop that. You know, we ain't doing right. My guys ain't paying attention to what's going on. Hey, y'all got, it's community. Y'all see them enough? Because I'm looking forward. Now, if it's club hours, don't bother. They got to be quiet in their library. They got to be quiet on campus. They got to be quiet in that business building. If it's club hours, now let them go. But when that club shut down, get on them, you know, because we got to be focused on the task at hand, and it means a lot. You know, I talked to my staff. It was some things, we left some meat on the bone as a coaching staff. It wasn't always on them kids. You know, there's some things that we miss. You know, as grown people, where we didn't put them in the best position to be successful, and I tell them that. And so collectively, we all will be better as coaches. We're growing. We're continuing to get better. And we're gonna make this thing right. And we do professional development, but we also, Alabama State, we did some things that wasn't right. Southern, we didn't do some things right. It wasn't always on them kids, so it was collective. And we look them in the eye and we tell them. But it's community. You know, when you guys see them doing whatever and it ain't right, call me. You know, my number out. I ain't gonna do like my president. You know, I got an answer. I ain't got that status. But if you know me, you know me. I'm gonna answer that phone, and we're gonna make sure these young brothers do it the right way. Had a question in the back. We don't know yet. We got all three of them on campus. Trey on campus, and you seen them two young men right there. We're gonna find out. And it may be all of them, because if you look at everybody, look at the two champions. One of the champions played 4, the other one played 5. The days are old of one person sitting back there throwing the ball and doing everything. How would that make you feel if you bust your tail every day and work and you don't get a check? It ain't happening. So you either adapt to the landscape or you sit there with one and God forbid he get hurt. Now you ain't got none. And so that's the things that's happening with the change. We're gonna put the best person out there that give us the best opportunity to win. Hands down. They don't pay me enough to do politics. It ain't enough at all going for politics and favors. The favors is the ones that's out there that's gonna help us. You know, and if the favorite is really a favor, we'll put him somewhere so he can really be good to help us. But they don't pay me enough to do favors. Before I do anything that's not in the light of my own child and I treat them like my own, I'll go do something else. God ain't raised me that way. I wasn't brought up like that. It's about Alcorn. It's about being a servant of these young brothers. And yeah, it's going to be some hard decisions. And I'm willing to make that decision and stand in front of anybody and say, why? But if you got an issue, just come see me. Just sit down. You sit right in that office. I'll put every tape up. We'll watch every snap. No. So the deal, and we're going to get a freshman quarterback, but just like we're talking about the quarterback position, you bring a freshman in, is he going to wait? Is he going to sit and wait? When what happens is Colleen call him and say, man, you on the bench? Man, you might as well come over here. When East Mississippi call him, even though I'm telling his mom, don't send him to East Mississippi because he ain't going to play, because they don't play Delta kids. I'm from there. I coached in the 10 years. They hoard our kids, sit them on the bench so the guys in the bigger district can play. So I'm telling him, man, go play. Just like DeAndre that was at Greenville Christian. Now he at Mercy. Talking about, Cole, man, I appreciate it, you know. Yeah, I reached out to him. But he said, Cole, man, I hurt my knee. I ain't going to do you like that. You know, but now when he get done, we'll have opportunity. Great question. I think Mr. Robinson or Ms. Toya would know that. The question was how many televised games. Season ticket. Mr. Robinson, season ticket. Mr. Robinson, anybody? Season ticket? Win season ticket. And I'll be there now. Purchase them, please. I'll be there this time. I wasn't there last year. I'll be there this year. So if you ain't got questions now, write them down. I'll see you. I'll be there. And so purchase them, please. And I'm raffling mine off. You know, I'm making my staff. We ain't making them. They're going to do it anyway. You know, we did it last year. We're going to buy season tickets. You know, and we're going to donate them. Because we can't talk it if we ain't in the foxhole with you. So, you know, I did it last year. You know, we're going to get them. And whether we raffle them off or give them to a local, you know, I normally give to the young lady that said, what's the gas station right there going through PG? I normally take care of her with mine. And so, Traceway. Yeah. Yeah, I need it, because all my partners fellas. Hey. It's 8:29 right now, so I think 8:30. We got one more minute. We got one more minute for me.
What are you most excited about this upcoming season?
So the question was, what am I most excited about this season? The first thing is just having the staff intact. You know, anytime you're dealing with young adults, you need a foundation, a consistent foundation. So this will be my first full year with all the guys in house. And then the second thing is when I look at those body composition of those players, I'm telling you, when it was all over, I'm sick in that room. But I got to look at it. I got to say, okay, this team won it on this side. Here's the height and weight. Here's what this team won it with. I was a part of championships. I sat here with Hop. I sat here with Coach. I know what championship looked like. But you had 4 years and 3 years to develop them guys. Warren Gatewood, Quintarius Cole, I recruited those guys. But when I look at my roster, I was amazed that our guys was way much smaller. But you don't know that when you beat a Gremlin. When you go and beat a Prairie View, you're kind of just thinking you can coach and you can get over it. But they got good coaches too. And a big, good player, I took some of my worst whoopings with big dudes, man. I couldn't do nothing. I could fight, and I'll fight you. But when he was big and he could fight, I lost. Hell, and that's what happened to us in some of those games. They were just big and they pushed us around. And so them guys gave us everything they had. But I can't go back out there saying we got all the answers from a coaching standpoint. So my task to them was, guys, if they're not this size, just like Coach Watson said, if they ain't that size and they ain't playing with them, I can't play with them this year. I ain't got long on this contract, and it ain't gonna be. So it ain't gonna be what we gonna do with these little ones. So we got some big ones, and I ain't never been scared of work nor coaching. And so I'm excited about that, and I promise you, Trey, this thing gonna be different now. The product gonna look a whole lot different. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all give Coach another hand and his staff. Again, on behalf of the university, we thank everyone for coming out and participating. We're showing that we are true organizers. When we dismiss, I would like for all the A Club members, JJ, your entire staff to come up, and we need to make sure that we take. We're gonna go ahead and take a picture, and the food is. Dr. Tucker, athletic director. Need to answer Dr. Tucker question.
Oh, no problem.
About sponsorship.
Mr. Tucker, I kind of heard part of your question, but the most important part that I heard was building partnerships with corporate sponsors. We're in the process. Is that pretty much where you were going with that? I just want to make sure. Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. And we're currently in the process of building some of those partnerships, bringing back some of the relationships that we used to have, and we're reaching out to all of you for that support. I was recently over in Vicksburg at the alumni chapter meeting, and they actually gave me some potential sponsors that I need to build a relationship with. So that process is starting. It's been 4 months for me, about 4.5 months. Building a staff, doing some things. We tried to work through basketball season, got some things going there, started some new things, but I promise you, I understand your concern, and we're in the process of building those relationships and enhancing the ones that we have to make that better, because we know that it has to be sustained through a number of partnerships. I promise you that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Well, it's, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But don't encourage. Let's just. Yes, ma'am. What I got out of all of that is that you want us to impact the game day experience. Right. And that is something that we are addressing as we speak. Because whether it's a Sodexo or whomever it is, there are so many things involved with the game day experience. If we want you to come in, buy that season ticket, there's an expectation from you as a customer. As your athletic director, I need to ensure that I'm doing my best job at making that experience the best that it can be. I've worked at enough institutions to know. I jumped in the middle of football season, so I have some thoughts and ideas where it worked. It is a challenge to get someone when it's 95 degrees to walk around. I used to hawk the Ole Miss and Mississippi State game over at Memorial Stadium. It's not easy. It's not easy to act. We don't have the same students that we used to have. However, we do plan on implementing some things for those people in the reserve seats in certain sections, just like we're doing right now with our courtside seating at our basketball games. I implemented that this year, a concierge service for those people who decided to do that. That enhanced the whole game day experience for them. So it is something that we're addressing. I've even addressed it with Sodexo. Even if you decide to go to the concession stand, you shouldn't have to stand in the concession line just for water and popcorn. Now, I'm saying that to say, just to let you know, we are hearing the concerns, we are addressing them as we speak, and my promise to you that we're going to make every effort, and it will be better going forward.
Okay, so we have time for one more question before we have to go. I saw your hand was up, and then we're going to get ready to close out, so we'll be respectful of Mississippi Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. It's not a part of what? Yes. Well, okay. This has got to be divine intervention. I was just in a conversation today regarding, again, about corporate sponsorships. Is there a corporate sponsorship letter? And I'm going to say, not only are we're creating a corporate sponsorship letter, we're creating a corporate sponsorship package with different levels of support. We had it back in 2022. I was just looking at the old draft today. And Dr. Ward and I are coming together to create those levels of sponsorship so that if you call the athletic director or someone in my office, we can send that to you immediately to get that support. We have to be more responsive, we have to be more aggressive, and we know we have to be more engaged. So when you make those calls, One of the things I stand on in my platform as the athletic director is being accessible. So calling my office, you should get a response. Someone should pick up the phone. And if you email me, I have a 48-hour window of turnaround to getting back to you to answer your questions. So we're there. We're trying to do things different and better, but we're going to address that sponsorship package letter that you're looking for. Well, in athletics and the foundation, because there's a partnership there, and we're going to do it together. You're welcome. Thank you so much. As I always like to end all of my events, always. Thank you.
Again, we want to thank everyone for coming. Before we leave at your tables, will you please help us out a little bit? There's a trash can over there, one over there. I think it's one in the back. And we want to go ahead and take a photo or picture with the 1871 and what's y'all nickname? What they call y'all? Red what? Golden Hill. And the A Club. So with that, will you be still for a moment when we have our closing prayer? Will everybody be still for one moment? Be still for one moment. Father, we thank you for this afternoon. We thank you for those who have attended. We ask that you watch over as we go to our different destinations. Lead us and guide us. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
All right, we welcome you back to the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. Glad you could join us. Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas is here. Coach Thomas, it's been a minute since we have talked, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, Mr. Charles. I didn't want you to think I was running from
you.
No.
Look,
I had to make sure I get all my groceries in before I start talking about what I got in there.
Yeah, and look, it's all about business. I mean, this is an important time of year from the end of football season until now. Just talk about the hard work that your coaches put in. I counted 35. 18 on defense, 15 on offense, and 2 special teams.
Yeah, that's it. I think about 30 or 31 of those on campus now. Can't say enough about those wives and those immediate family members to them coaches, because while they gone, like I said, they got to spend a lot of time with them kids, and they got to spend a lot of time with missing loved ones. And these coaches, you look at that roster, there's guys from Jersey, there's guys from California, and this ain't over the internet. These guys are flying and going to see these student athletes all over the region. And so, shout out to the parents. Shout out to the wives for allowing those husbands to be able to go out and do that. And then I can't say enough about my coaching staff. Just this time last year, I was just getting offensive guys in. We couldn't really get what we wanted, and so you saw the effects of it, during the year. But now I got all them guys in. We get a chance to go back through the spring, and now we got some groceries that we can kind of cook up a nice little meal for. So I'm excited about those guys and the hard work that they put in, and can't say enough about administration. For, like I said, it's almost unheard of to have 30 enrollees, and administration got them in, did all the paperwork. Miss Dr. Smith and her team, got them in, and so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you kept stressing that the majority of these players are on campus, so I'm assuming that's just not a given that many in a situation is on campus right now. It's highly unusual. Is it pretty average, above average? What we got?
Nah, that's above average. You don't get many mid-year guys, at that time in this landscape, because guys, they kind of jumping around, and they wait until the last minute, and then they end up signing on signing day, but they at home, or they at the junior college, taking hours, or they being a part-time student waiting on July, June to roll around so they can get enrolled because they waited too late. And so, the guys that we got, and they parents, we tripped them, got them all in, right around January, right around December, and even some 1st of January, right before school started. And with school starting for us on, I think, January the 12th, it allowed us an extra week after the new year to get back, get some guys in on a visit. And it sold it, and so those guys are there. But that's almost unheard of to have 30 new student athletes on campus, to be able to participate in spring.
We went back and we talked about the early signing period. How many of those players of the 35? How many of them were signed in the early period?
About 26. About 26 of them.
Okay.
That was that first rush. Then you look at the 2 specialists. Once Norfolk go in a different direction, we was able to pick the first kicker up, when Hampton dropped their coach, we was able to get those guys in, on campus after January, after the dead period, and so those guys was able to come in, which was huge. The running back, from Chattanooga, he came in, him and his mom, we brought him up on a one day. She loved it, kind of for a basketball game. She just loved the support and loved the family atmosphere, and he was able to get in. That was my last one, just far as we wanted to get a bigger running back, to be able to get in the spring. And so he's really going to help us. But, that's for the Buck, for the most part, all those guys was, about 26 or 27 on that early signing period.
So do you think that's the norm going forward, where the bulk of your heavy lifting and recruiting will be done by the time we get to the second week of December?
Yeah, without a doubt, Mr. Charles. You always ask these type of questions, that kind of keeps you in the loop. And that's a really good question, because when I talk to my best friend at Mississippi State and my best friend at Ole Miss, they said Ole Miss been out for 2 weeks and Mississippi State been out for a week, on vacation, because recruiting is pretty much sold up. So those guys ain't waiting until January to see what you're gonna do, because they know with spring coming along, whether they show the spring or not, they gonna have those guys in. And so this is just becoming the norm, and it's becoming a new part of the landscape.
So bottom line is, if you don't do your work by the time that early signing period is done, that means that you're behind the 8 ball, and whatever comes at the end, on the back end, you're just left with that.
And I think it's some really good players. Well, I know it's some really good players that still left. It's just, now when you're talking about, you sign in February, you don't get to campus to June and July. You see they just pushed our Northwestern game up, so there's less practice time. You got to be ready and prepared to play a game in less than, 45 days. And so this kid is just getting there, getting acclimated to things, and then you got to wait on the academic side to make sure he clear for, far as eligibility status. We've been in a situation where, that has happened, and guys didn't play the first 2 games because, compliance is, checking things out and making sure they dot our I's and cross our T's. So, we want to get all that out the way, so we know, even if we lose 1 or 2, to the portal, when spring over, we still got a window to either grab 1 or 2 or also make the necessary revisions.
We're talking with Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas. Coach, you were speaking to the alums, and you used the word bigger. This team is bigger than last year.
Most definitely. Mr. Charles, I came in, and that's the biggest thing that I had to do from a leadership position is evaluate the coaches, and then scheme and schematics, but also player and personnel. And when I looked at the player personnel, because I watched every clip of offensive play 10 times. I watched every clip of defensive play about 7 times, and same thing with special team. The common denominator in a lot of it was, we were smaller, and we got pushed around, and I love Andrew Smith to death. Really good football player. Wouldn't trade him for nothing in the world. But he was just small when we went against the champs, and so I told my guys, that's the litmus, that's the guideline when we go on this road. Anything less than that, it's got to sail as something exceptional, and that's the only way we're gonna deal with it. So in order for us to, be where they at and compete on a high level and get it back to beating the Northwesterns of the world and playing at a high level, then we got to go get that product.
Well, so what were the weight limits? What were the minimums that you were looking for? Height, weight, size, all that.
For when I looked at the overall, 2 deep for both of those guys, we was 2 inches shorter, and we was we was about 27 to 31 pounds lighter. And so for the DBs, it was either 5'11" that can dunk, or it was 6 foot above, 5 ounces. There wasn't no cutoff. You had to be at least 6 foot, because when I looked at the champs, that's on the West and the East. Those guys was, they paraded 6'3", 6'2", 6'4" out there on the edge. For the D line, it wasn't so much the height; it was just the girth. 305, nothing less than 300. Unless it's a 275 that's just wiry and can rush the passer. And so that's kind of what that was. And then offensive line, just like Coach Watson said, 6'3", 6'4", no more 400s. We got to be able to move. We got to be athletic. And so the wideouts, now our wideouts gonna look like they wideouts. You see Nico is 6'4", 205, Jarvis Rush, who, shout out to Chris Blair, man, the Brave Nation, man, is just awesome. We don't have to do a whole lot of recruiting when it comes to those guys. Chris Blair did that. I didn't know Jarvis Rush. Chris Blair called me and said, Coach, I got somebody for you. Just spend time with him. I just spoke. He was just in one of my meetings, for the Jackson game. And he told me about him. His mom came down. He said, Coach, I'm sold, man. I want to be a part. But that's 6'3", 185, and you pull his highlight tape up. He playing against Ohio State, and we needed some older wideouts. And so, you see the depth and you see the height of those guys, on the edge. So overall, Mr. Charles, we got bigger, and we're going to be better.
Talk about the balance with this class between getting a freshman and then diving into the portal.
For me, I love the freshmen. You look at Jaquel Irvin, and even Carl McDonough. I take freshmen, Mr. Charles. Those guys will play. It's just because they're getting in. They got 5 months to learn the system, get acclimated to not only academics, but in 3 years, those guys will be working on their master's degree because, by them enrolling early and having the summer. So, when you look at guys like, Jaquel and Carl, put you in the mind of Cavo Henderson, just a bigger body who played as a true freshman, and so those guys are coming in, you look at the defensive back that we got from New Orleans that's here, he's like my little baby. I tell all the guys, hey, look, make sure y'all take care of him because, he's 17 years old. He just gave up his, high school senior year where, the spring semester of his senior year to come enroll. And so he gets a chance to go, and those guys will play because physically, they fit the bill to be able to go out there and not get pushed around and not get hurt.
Well, let's start, Coach, with the quarterback position. Obviously, we know what happened with the quarterback position. You talked about it. You got 3 quarterbacks. You got 2 that you recruited, and then Trey Lawrence. Talk about that quarterback room.
Excited about it. They here. They got a chance. Trey got a chance, just like, Jalen and Dre. When we looked at Jalen, we was able to get some really good intel for him. He played in the MEAC. He got film. Had some coaches to really speak highly of him, can spin it, athletic. Don't run as well as some of those other guys, but he'll get, what he can get in slide and get down. But, phenomenal passer. Andre, shout out to Michael, one of our old-time alumni, he allowed us to.
Michael Ellis?
Yeah, my coach. How you know? Coach Ellis.
Michael Ellis is always peeping around.
Yeah, man. Coach
he
Ellis,
loves
man.
Alcorn, though.
Yeah, man. He, and I give credit what credit due. We got a guy on the hook, at the quarterback position. But, Mike called me, and when I saw the film, I said, man, ain't no way this kid's still out here. So I called my frat brother that's at South Carolina State to see, hey, what was the background on him. He said, Coach, man, we were just going to bring our guy in. And talked to him and his dad. Came down, and he's a part. And you see Trey, Trey got opportunity. He been in the system. He got the head up because he been through the system, and played. And so those guys, got a chance to come in and compete. But the good thing is we got those guys on campus to be able to get the time and everything down with, with the rest of the guys.
So now the obvious question, Coach, Tyler Macon, is he going to be playing a different position? Talk about that.
Yeah, he's going to be a big-time wideout for us, big-time slot. When I go through and I did the eval, when you see the ball, I think he had probably 9.4, 9.5 yards per catch when he was healthy and when he got the football. And it really sparked the offense. And so it was the best decision that we had. When I looked at that offensive room and guys couldn't get open, guys couldn't create space, it really didn't matter who the quarterback was going to be because he couldn't get it to nobody besides Tyron Warren vertically. And Mako wasn't the best passer, but we had to get our best guys on the field. So when I look at that move and moving him to wide out, and you see him against Grambling, and you see him against Texas Southern with the ball in his hand, you're saying now we got to go get somebody that can get him the football, and that's what we done. And so we expecting really big things for him, from a dynamic standpoint with that ball in his hand. His body is changing now. He's going into the spring knowing what position that he's playing. And so, I think the kid is an NFL talent. Now it's just our job to be able to expose him and give him that opportunity, to put the ball in his hand as many ways we can.
What were the areas of needs, Coach, when you look at this roster? You said you've looked at film and every game, every situation. So the areas of need, when the season ended, you broke down the film. What were the areas of need for this football team?
The first thing was defensive backs because, Ed was a senior, Drew was a senior, Wallow was a senior. We was losing about, 5 or 6 senior DBs. So DBs was first. And then, defensive line interior guys. That was first and foremost, the thought of giving all those yarders up to that last game of the season and then Southern, getting bullied around. That was the points of emphasis. The linebackers was good. We got some retention there. And then, the quarterback position and then wide out, the O-line gave some plays up on the edge, but it was just amazing for me to go back and look at the tape to see how our young wideouts didn't create any separation. And then when you look at it, you sit there and say, so let me go look at everybody else wideouts. Let me look at the champ wideouts. And you say, man, he's 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", and we didn't have that. And so, I said, that makes sense. And so we got to move some of those smaller guys. Amarion Blake's inside. We're gonna move Damien inside, so those guys can have opportunity. And so Diablo McGee, we'll be able to move him inside. Those guys wasn't as productive out on the edge because they was going against bigger corners, and now they can get in the slot and do some things and be successful. So wide out, I was thinking wide outs more so than the O-line because, just from we normally always have skill. When you think about, the Charlie Spillers, the Nate Hughes, the Rodarius Andersons, the Chris Blairs, the Charles Pringle, the Chris, the wide out we had from Vanderbilt, all those guys. It was just like, man, I just didn't see it at the time, but it made sense. And so, I told Coach I knew he was going to get them. It was just a matter of time or being able to going out there and get them. And you can't never get enough O-linemen. So that was kind of the order, Mr. Charles, of the progression, for the area needs.
Oh, the running back position, of course, we got Sewell, who's dynamic. You were able to add something to that running back room. What were you looking for there when you broke that position down? Speed, burst, all that stuff. What do we need to do to fill the gaps in as far as the running back position?
Really good question. When you think about the Alcorn way, you always think about a DeLance Turner, A.B., a Waller, a Bolden, bigger, a nice, PJ Simmons, a guy that's shifted, that can move quick, and then somebody that can hit it down here. But we always had a three-headed monster. And last year we didn't have that. Sewell did a really good job, but we didn't have a bag up consistently that could be able to take some pressure off him, still catch the ball, be athletic, but get them extra yardage. And that's what we did. We got the young man that's amazing, that's right up the road from us in Natchez. He's going to be Trey going to be a really good player for Minor, man. He's going to be able to tote it. But the icing on the cake for me, was the young man we got from Chattanooga, to get him in. Coach Booz handled it. I spent a bunch of time with his mom on the trip just telling her, hey, look, this is what we got. It wasn't about the infrastructure sale. It wasn't about all of the bells and whistles. And so when she left me, she said, Coach, I trust you with my baby. And then he, got with Booz and got some of the guys, and he said, Coach, I just want to compete and help. Man, it was awesome feeling. And so for me, that running back room went from a C+ to an A+ with those three guys. And we know Carl McDonald, can, as a youngster, his time is coming.
Well, you talked about that, Reggie Davis.
Yeah, Reggie Davis.
Yeah, from UT Chattanooga. Jacorian Sewell, when I interviewed him last year, he said, man, don't sleep on the running backs from Adams County and Jefferson County. And we got a couple of more coming out of Natchez.
Yeah, it's always good. All of them want to come from around the way. I think the only place right now we missing is Vicksburg. So I got to give, Mr.
Well, Coach has a story behind that now.
I got to get up there and rub some elbows right now. I think that's the only one we're missing. Miller come back, and that's Hermanville, PG. We got Sewell, we got the Natchez deal. So now, I got to get up a little bit high on 61, man, and I think I had the complete cycle of the area then.
Well, there was one lingering out there who wound up at Ole Miss that took a visit. But things go in different directions. But there was one up there.
He probably didn't have enough money if he went to Ole Miss. But
is that okay? So it's a great pivot. So that now has to be in the convert. Well, you talked about it.
It is.
So that is now a part of the why, perhaps why we didn't get this or that.
Oh, without a doubt.
The money component, the free agent component. Someone offers you offer $10, but someone else is offering $25. They're gonna take the $25.
And when Malachi Bailey, love him to death, I just got off the phone with him yesterday. When he told me and sent me a screenshot of what his account looked like monthly, I couldn't do nothing but say, man, this man, who would ever thought? Who would ever thought for playing football? This is what he getting, and he, staying grounded and asking me about financial things and just saying, Coach, I'm gonna get this every month as long as I'm playing ball here. So my thing to him was to save, and that's just on that end. But even on the landscape of where we at, it's still guys that's still getting more than what we're getting. Our collective is awesome. And so now the loyalty part isn't there because the loyalty is to the finances, and you can't say you for the young man and he goes and get an extra, not $500, he get an extra $5,000 on top of his scholarship, on top of cost of attendance and apartment. So it's definitely a part of the landscape. No matter how you cut it, slice it. So you gotta adapt. I had a long conversation. Congrats to Coach Hop. And my thing, that's my mentor. It's like my pops, man. I'm saying, hey, I knew he wanted to get in admit, but I didn't think this fast. And that's some of the conversations about Division I. And you go spend time, away from your family, and you go recruit this guy. You sit and talk to mom and dad, and you bust your tail and build that relationship. And then in 6 months, he tell you, Coach, I'm going over here because they're going to give me X, Y, Z. And you're like, man, I could have been at home with my 12-year-old helping her with her homework, And so it's changing, Mr. Charles. But we're not naive to it. Financially, the landscape is changing. And so, I'm not ashamed to say that's why we hit a lot of junior college guys, because those guys fit the Alcorn way with a lot of the stuff.
How many guys do you think we lost because of one school offering more than another?
I'd say over 10.
Lost 10.
Over 10. And they saying, Coach, I love you, man. I love Coach. Y'all been recruiting me, but so-and-so, Coach, gonna give me my cost of attendance, gonna give me this a month, and they're gonna give me an apartment.
Nothing you can say about that.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I want to know if we don't get a kid is, hey, what did we do? Is anything, you're like, nah, Coach, this the package. So my thing is, can you show me in writing? And you look at it, and you're like, I can't compete. I ain't nothing I can do. And Mama saying, Coach, I'm all for you, but
Yeah.
And so it was about 10.
So the hill has definitely gotten a lot steeper to climb with that. What do you think about this ruling as far as JUCOs getting time? Is it? I mean, how many years some of these kids gonna be in school? You got 2 plus 4.
No, that's not true. I'm glad we're on the air with that.
Okay.
Because a lot of junior college coaches telling kids that, and they're gonna screw them up. The rule is simply all the junior college kids that attended who exhausted their eligibility this year, they get a redo. Everything else is as is. So guys just signing with these junior college this year, when they play after this year, they are a sophomore. Junior college in the state of Mississippi and junior college nationally are not prep schools. That's not the rule. So junior college coaches, and I've been in that league 10 years, a long time in Mississippi. I played in it. I'm talking to some of my mentees. That's not right what you're telling them, because we always been 2 separate entities. The junior college sector never came under NCAA, but that NCAA rule was for that student athlete. And so when they went back in, they said, okay, all of the student athletes who previous attended junior college
for 2 years,
anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. If you played and exhausted your eligibility this year on a Division I level, you can get, quote unquote, a COVID year. You get a mulligan. That's it. So the guys that's signing today with junior college, when they get in there this year and they play, they are a sophomore. They ain't no 2 years and then you come out and then they have 4 years. That's not the rule.
Okay. So there's all this talk about 6 years, 7 years. That's just not the case.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. What's happening is you getting a guy like Malachi and Steve that's about to play their 6 year, but the overall landscape of that rule is not my kids from the Delta that just signed with Southwest and East Mississippi. They get a 2 year mulligan. I sign them and they get 4 years with me.
Yeah,
that's not the rule.
Yeah. Do you think it'll get to that at some point?
Nope. Because it's going to screw up the PTD, and then on the Division I level, we wouldn't be able to fund them and keep them with all those credits and hours. We'll be paying for doctoral degrees, because that's the problem we having with, Markel. Markel is coming back, and he has already graduated, got his master's. So it's like, what do we do in the curriculum? He can't just sit in the dorm and do nothing. And so the NCAA, they're going to put up some red tape to keep that from happening. But in Mississippi, junior college periods, those guys don't have, it's not prep school. Prep schools will be prep schools. Junior college will be just that. And that clock going to run once they enroll and get 12 hours.
We're talking with Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas. Coach, a good turnout here tonight. We talked with A.D. Robinson going over some different things. And, the football schedule was released last week. Kind of talk about that. And one change right off the bat, the Northwestern State game. is now August the 28th, a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I get what they trying to do. I know Coach McCorkle. I actually worked with him at UT Martin, man, so that'll be a nice little lead in when we get rolling. He was the O-line coach at UT Martin. His dad was the head coach, so I know Blaine really, really well. But it's his second year, and he trying to strike that program up. So they want to move it up so they can get people in the stadium, and not have to fight with high school ball or things that's going on that Saturday. So I'm fine with it. We'll be better, and now they just push us up to get in camp a lot earlier. So we're excited about the schedule. We're excited about where things are, and so. Like I told the fans, man, I never really just sat in the stadium this year and felt like it was an away game because we got so much support, and so much purple and gold that's in them stadiums that I'm excited about it. It's just good to be able to get it home, when we are, and I like the way it's set up.
Well, we got an early bye week. Early in mid-September, 9 straight weeks of football. Knowing you, even though that's a challenge, you're not running from that at all.
No, indeed. And just, you ain't hear from me, but, even that might change a little bit. We'll see. So it might not be 9. But however, if it lands the way it lands, we fine with it. We'll have a lot more depth. This team will be better. Because when you're rolling, then you don't want to take off anyway. And what people don't really understand that the off week technically is not an off week. You're still working, you're still banging, you're still getting better. It's just the psyche, of it. And so we want to use that to our advantage. And so, once we get in it, we in it. Let's roll.
Yeah, I was reading something online. The players that are on campus, based on what I've been reading, there's a lot of togetherness. Everybody's just kind of on one accord doing stuff. What's happening right now? Semester has started, obviously. We're in February. What's happening right now in the program?
The guys are working out. Coach Gant, man, I wish he was here. There's some coaches I wouldn't mind that if they did venture off, it wouldn't hurt me, and that's no knock to them. But boy, I would hate to lose Coach Gant. I mean, he's just awesome in that weight room. Just the feel that he has and what I need, from a strength and conditioning coach. So he has them. I kind of stay out the way. I kind of let them build that relationship and get that voice. So they hadn't been seeing me, a whole lot. He kind of gets them. And they were running on Tuesdays and Thursdays, lifting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I get a couple of coaches to go out, be what we consider the feds and look at them and come back, give me the intel, who's doing what, who's looking like, and also just trying to find the mechanism of the voice with all the guys that left. And so, in the morning, it'll be my first morning. I'll pop in now that we got this done. I'll pop up, in the morning and kind of handle it while I get the guys a little time off. And then, the next week we all in, all hands on deck. Every coach will be in all the workouts, in all the activities, and we'll start getting them. We walking through and doing football stuff with them now, and so, I like it because my thing is, is the mantra is, shut up and work. I don't want to hear. We ain't doing no talking. And right now they just trying to feel their way through us. Not hearing Malachi's voice, not hearing Steve's voice, not hearing Wallo's voice, not hearing DeMarcus' voice, not hearing Renee's voice. Now those guys are trying to navigate through that, and they just got their head down and they working.
Yeah, it is going to be different. It is going to be different with those different voices, certain voices you're just used to hearing. But, times change, and now it's going to be some different voices.
Yeah, it's a part of it, and I'm excited, Mr. Charles. I know this staff and myself, we good at what we do. When I first got here, if you can remember, everybody was talking about that defense and what it wasn't going to do and what it didn't do. And then now, we got it to the point where if we give up anything, it's a disappointment. And that's what happens when the bar set. And so, Coach Roy will be better his second go round, and the staff and his staff will be better. The system is the system offensively, man. I don't have a worry, in my bone about what Coach Gales and them guys going to do over there offensively with what we got. I keep my head down and press this special team deal. And, and so we excited. I'm telling you, man, I'm really excited, because we got some work to do. We got some work. But we got a really good canvas to paint on, and that's what I'm more excited about.
I wanted to catch up with you right after the season was over with, few weeks after the season ended, just to talk about the early signing period. But I guess until everything was signed, sealed, and delivered, which it is now, you really didn't want to talk that much. But it sounds like you really were in the film room breaking down every aspect. How long does that process take for you to hone in on it, turn the lights off, turn the film on, and just dissect every unit of this football program?
Yeah, probably about 3 weeks. You know, it was going right in turf. When it was over, I got right in it, you know. And I was sick after that last one, so I had to just finally because you can't move on until you watch it. You got to dissect it. You got to sit in it. And so, you know, I didn't do it that Sunday. Waited, you know, about 3 or 4 days. And, you know, I got in it. And it took me about really 3 weeks to go offense, defense, special team, every clip, write the notes down. So when I got the staff meeting, so right, you know, before Christmas and Santa Claus came, the good thing I stay on campus and I can walk to the office. You know, I got it. And I felt good, you know, about it. Some things that, you know, from a professional development standpoint, I knew we had to go in and we had to fix, had to learn some whys. But overall, man, I was at peace with what we did. You know, we stole some. But boy, we left a couple out there. You know, it's easily Mr. Charles, you know, with 7 and whatever. You know, you look at the Alabama State game and you look at the Southern game, and that's with the little people. That's with the little guys that we had. That's with the lack of throwing from the quarterback position or the inability to do it. And you're right there in it. So just imagine when we hone that up and be a whole lot better, and you can't rush for 300 yards and you can throw for more than 78 yards. And you can punt and turn the field over. You know, man, it's a lot of good things that's out there that I'm sitting there once it was all over. I was able to go into Christmas and the New Year's saying, hey, okay, this is what it is. This is the litmus that I need. And the guys went out and got it.
How long did it take you to flush the Jackson State game? Because that was a beautiful day, beautiful atmosphere, great crowd and all of that, and then we know what happened. Fans still talk about it. How long did it take for you once you looked at the film, and how long did it take for you to put that game to bed?
When they beat the hell out the team in the Celebration Bowl, when they did that, I was like, you know what, I'm sitting here licking my wounds for it, and it's supposed to have been, you know, give me that roster and let me put that team out, you know. So once that happened, it was me and my wife sat up and she just kind of looked, and she can kind of just see I kind of had a pep in my step because that's a good football team. You can say what you want. That good big football team beat a good look football team that wasn't ready, and they got everything they deserve, and we got everything we deserve. And so from then on, it was I vowed to that won't happen again.
That's and look, Jackson handled South Carolina State. There is no question about that. So when you look at what Jackson did, they won the trifecta, the division, the SWAC, Celebration Bowl, third team in the conference to win the Celebration Bowl. You've referenced them throughout. What are some of the things that we have to do in terms of the template for SWAC championship winning football that we have to do to win the division, the SWAC, and the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, we just got to coach what we got. We got to prepare this meal of what we got. You know, I took the same litmus, and ain't ashamed to say it. You know, it wasn't just Jackson; it was Southern. You know, I looked at both of those guys because Southern won the West. You know, and the product was the product. The scheme is the scheme. You know, Gales, you know, was with TC. We running the same stuff. Quinn running the same stuff. You know, but when you got a big guy like Jeremiah Williams sitting in the middle and you can't run the ball inside no more, you got Rob McDaniel that's sitting on the edge, holding your little wideouts up. You know, and they got the big tackle that's, you know, just running around us, or, you know, the big wide out they throwing on, you know, T. Haney. You know, that's recruiting. You know, the system is a system. And like I said, if I felt like it was a system, then I'd be making changes from that standpoint. But when I went back through it, you know, it's personnel. And I know we can coach. I can coach. Coach can coach. But that wasn't the deal to where that game was, they just out-schemed us. You know, Herb Mulligan just ran over. So I'm saying let's go get Herb Mulligan. We like, you know, the running back that we got. You know, and Sewell a really good back, but he ain't Herb Mulligan. You know, let's go get a Terrell, a smaller guy. If you remember, Charles, we couldn't kick it to him. So they was getting the ball on the 40-yard line. So in the Celebration Bowl, when they kicked it to him, what happened? Yeah. So I'm saying let me go get a Terrell. You know, i.e. Jacoby Matthews, 4'3" kids from Southwest. I'm saying, hey, you get back there, you catch punts and kicks. You know, Amar Young, we love you to death, but you don't run as fast. I need you to turn the field over. You know, that part, you know, it wasn't hard to look at and see. And so the guys did a really good job of going getting that. And so that would allow us to play championship football because we got some of those pieces.
Speaking of special teams, Coach, a couple of kickers, Wilcox and Duvall. Talk about that.
Yeah, you talking about you lose an all SWAC kicker and you get all MEAC kicker. That made a 61 not on the highlight tape or practice. He did it in the game, and so we got a really good relationship with Cole Watson. So we know him. He has a good relationship with him. He's on campus now, so any bumps in the road we can kind of rectify it and smooth it over. His family, you know, enjoyed it, and so he'll take over the kicking duties. And then Duval, just want to get some more depth. Eli left us, but now Frank can't just sit there and hold the position. So we created a lot of depth even from the punting standpoint. So both of those guys on campus, and we're excited about them going through the spring with us.
All right, so the schedule now, Coach, going forward. A lot of the heavy lifting is done. Your players are on campus. The strength and conditioning coaches got them. So what's the schedule like here over the next 30 days?
So we'll get them in, starting in the morning when they're not lifting, and we'll walk through. We do walkthroughs, every morning, as a defense and offense as a unit. And then we'll go, individual meetings with them at 4 o'clock. And, on Friday we have what we call play the game, where they go out and kind of put it all together. And we'll do all that up until March 3rd. March 3rd will be the first day we get out and practice, T-shirt and shorts. And we'll transition to the spring break. And after spring break, we'll put them pads on, get the refs out. First scrimmage will be that Saturday. And we rolling from there.
Are there rules in place where you can't, as a head coach or the other coaches can't be out there? It's just only the strength and conditioning?
No, now you can be out as long as you don't have a ball. They changed the rules. So, we can be out there.
But no football?
No football.
So you plan on being out there?
Almost definitely. Yeah, we got a lot of new guys. There's a lot of teaching going on. We don't need no football. If you keep rolling a sock or a towel up, that ain't a football.
Well, Coach Thomas, we really appreciate you, man. We're going to be talking again, and we'll do the spring game, and we'll have a spring edition. Looking forward to seeing what this looks like.
I appreciate it, Mr. Charles.
Coach Cedric Thomas always gives us some knowledge as he talks some Braves football. That'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, from the football signing party here at the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. As you can see, we had a really nice setup here. We had planned on being upstairs, but we looked at this space and said, man, let's go with it. So that'll do it here from the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame and Museum. For our producers, Jamario Brooks, Cedric Tillman, you don't see him. Cedric, an outstanding job on the video piece of it. And don't forget Braves basketball coming up tomorrow. Lady Braves basketball, then men on Saturday, then next week, the Landon Bussey and Nate Kilbert shows. So we'll talk to you again tomorrow for Braves basketball. From the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, I'm Charles Edmond, our producer, Jamario Brooks, and Cedric Tillman. We'll talk to you soon. So long.